Okay, so, taxes.
Right.
Nobody really loves them, but getting that refund check, that's the good part. So let's dive right in. We're talking all about tracking that refund like a pro. We've got some fresh info,
Mm-hmm.
straight from the IRS.
Yeah,
You know what they say, straight from the horse's mouth.
absolutely. We'll break down all the essentials, all the need to knows about the IRS's Where's My Refund tool. It's basically like a GPS for your refund. It guides you through the whole process, step by step.
Okay, I've got to admit, I'm super guilty of constantly refreshing that page.
Yeah.
Like, it's my social media feed. Is that really necessary, though?
Not at all. The IRS actually updates Where's My Refund only once per day, usually overnight, so you can relax, let the system do its thing. No need to be hitting that refresh button every 5 minutes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Ah.
One less thing to worry about. So then what about the actual timeline? Like, how long until that refund actually hits my bank account?
Well, if you filed electronically, you're in luck. You'll typically see your refund in less than 21 days. And here's a pro tip. E-filing not only speeds up your refund, but also statistically leads to fewer errors. So fewer delays or adjustments down the line.
Got it. So e-filing equals peace of mind, that's for sure.
Mm.
But for those of us who filed the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, paper filers are going to need a bit more patience. It usually takes about 4 weeks for their info to show up in the system.
Okay, so while we're waiting, what exactly can we expect to see when we check, where's my refund? What kind of information does it actually show?
It's pretty detailed, actually. Once you log in, you'll need your social security number or your ITN, your filing status, and the exact amount of your expected refund. And with that, you can actually track your refund through 3 stages. It's pretty
No,
cool.
I'm listening. What are the three
First,
stages?
you'll see return received, then refund approved, and finally refund sent.
Return received, refund approved, refund sent. Got it. I like that. They lay it out so clearly, you know exactly where you are in the process. Pretty handy.
Exactly. It takes all the guesswork out of it. But let's say you check, where's my refund? And you see the dreaded phrase, reduced refund.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Talk about a mini heart attack. What does that even mean? Is the IRS like coming after me?
No need to panic. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes the IRS might just be making some adjustments, based on your final return. This could involve things like the child tax credit or the EITC, where the final amount isn't calculated until they process your whole return.
Oh, okay. So it's like they're double checking everything, making sure everything's accurate.
Exactly. Sometimes it could also be due to offsets for things like past due taxes or other debts. But no matter what the reason is, the IRS will always send you a notice explaining any adjustments. And you can use that notice to compare with your original filing, to understand the discrepancies.
That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the Where's My Refund tool, the timeline, the potential for any delays, and what to do if you see that scary reduced refund message. But the IRS website has a bunch of other stuff too, right? Not just this one tool.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a gold mine of information. It's really valuable. In fact, why don't we switch gears for a minute and explore one tool that I think is super useful?
I'm all ears. Tell me more.
Let's talk about the interactive tax assistant. It's like having your own personal tax advisor available 24/7, anytime you need it.
Ooh, that sounds pretty intriguing. How does it work? Walk me through it.
Okay, so imagine this. You're not sure if you qualify for a specific deduction, or maybe you have a unique tax situation and you don't know where to turn. The interactive tax assistant can help you out. It asks you a series of questions about your situation and then gives you personalized guidance based on your answers.
So it's like a choose your own adventure, but for taxes.
Exactly. But with accurate and up-to-date information, of course.
And all for free.
Yep, totally free. Available on the IRS website.
This is starting to sound less like tax season and more like, tax success season. I like it.
Exactly. That's what we want. We want to give you the knowledge and the tools to navigate the tax world with confidence.
All right, so we've covered Where's My Refund. We've gotten a sneak peek at the interactive tax assistant. I have a feeling there's even more to uncover, though.
Right? Oh, you bet. And we'll dive into those other valuable resources in just a bit.
Sounds good to me. But first, I think we got to take a quick break, catch our breath, refresh our deep diving brains.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be back soon with more insightful tips and tricks from the IRS.
All right, we're back. And, before the break, we were getting excited about the interactive tax assistant and how it's like having a personal tax guru in our pocket.
It really is super helpful, especially if you're dealing with something kind of out of the ordinary. Like, let's say you're a freelancer, navigating the gig economy. You might have questions about what expenses you can deduct or how to handle quarterly taxes. The interactive tax assistant can walk you through all those specific scenarios.
So it's not just for the standard W-2 employee, it's tailored for different situations. different filing statuses.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It takes into account all those nuances, makes it super versatile.
I'm certain to think this interactive tax assistant needs its own fan club.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our refund tracker. We've got our virtual tax advisor. What else does the IRS have up its sleeve?
Well, for those who prefer a more hands-on approach, the IRS offers two really great programs: volunteer income tax assistance, or VIT, and tax counseling for the elderly, or TCE.
Okay, those names ring a bell. I think I've heard of them before, but remind me, what are they all about?
Both programs offer free tax help to those who qualify. VIT is geared towards individuals with low to moderate incomes, people with disabilities, and those who have limited English proficiency.
It's like a safety net for those who might not be able to afford to hire a professional tax preparer.
Exactly. And TCE, as the name suggests, focuses on providing tax guidance to seniors. They specialize in issues related to pensions, retirement, and other concerns that are specific to older taxpayers.
That's awesome. It's great to know that the IRS is, committed to providing support for a wide range of taxpayers.
Absolutely. They understand that taxes can be pretty complex for a lot of people, and these programs are designed to make things a bit easier.
Okay, I'm taking notes over here. VITA, TCE, Interactive Tax Assistant. These are going on my tax resources to remember list.
That's a good idea. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to taxes.
Speaking of power, let's talk about a resource that can be a lifesaver. The IRS Free File program. I think a lot of people could benefit from this one.
Oh, for sure. Free File is amazing for those who qualify. It lets you prepare and file your federal taxes online for free using guided tax software.
Okay, free is my favorite word. So who exactly qualifies for this program?
Generally, if your adjusted gross income or AGI is below a certain threshold, you're good to go. You can find the specific income limits on the IRS website.
So it's like getting professional-grade tax software without the hefty price tag.
Exactly. And it's a win-win because it helps the IRS streamline the tax filing process, too.
Okay, Free File added to the list, but let's be real for a second. Even with all these amazing tools and resources, sometimes things go wrong. What happens if I make a mistake on my tax return? Is there any hope for me?
Of course there is. Mistakes happen. The IRS knows that luckily there's a solution: amended returns.
Amended returns. That sounds a little scary.
Hmm.
Is it like admitting tax defeat?
Not at all. Think of it as a do-over. If you discover an error on your original return, like maybe you missed a deduction you were eligible for, or you put in the wrong income amount, or even if your filing status changed, you can file an amended return to fix it.
So it's like hitting the undo button on your taxes.
Pretty much. And the IRS has made it fairly easy to do. You can file Form 1040-X electronically or by mail. They even have a tool on their website called Where's My Amended Return, so you can track its progress.
Wait a minute, where's my amended return? That sounds familiar.
It's very similar to Where's My Refund, but specifically for tracking amended returns. It gives you peace of mind, keeps you in the loop.
Makes sense. But what about the timing? How long does it take for an amended return to go through?
It can vary. It depends on a few factors,
Right.
like whether you filed electronically or by mail, and whether they need to do any extra review.
So patience is key once again.
You got it. But don't worry, the IRS has clear guidelines and resources to help you through the whole amendment process.
Okay, good to know. I feel better knowing there's a safety net if I mess something up.
Absolutely. Speaking of safety nets, let's talk about something that often causes a lot of anxiety: tax audits.
Ooh, audits. Just the word makes me nervous. But I know they're a necessary part of the system, right?
Yeah, they are. It's how the IRS makes sure everyone's following the rules and that the info on tax returns is accurate.
So it's not necessarily a sign that I did something wrong.
Not at all. It's more like a routine checkup. For your tax return, the IRS is just making sure everything's in order.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. But still, the thought of an audit is a bit intimidating. So what actually happens during an audit?
Well, the process is pretty structured. They'll send you a letter explaining what they're looking at. They might ask for some more documents, or maybe schedule a meeting to go over your return.
So I'll have a chance to explain things and provide any supporting documents.
Exactly. And remember, you have rights as a taxpayer. The IRS has guidelines to make sure things are fair and transparent.
That's good to know. I definitely want to understand my rights if I ever got audited.
And don't hesitate to get help from a tax professional if you need it. They can be a great advocate for you during an audit.
Makes sense. So we've talked about audits, amended returns, and a whole bunch of helpful IRS resources. What's next on our deep dive agenda?
Let's switch gears and talk about something that can really help lower your tax bill: tax credits.
Tax credits. Now we're talking. Tell me everything.
Tax credits are like golden tickets. They directly reduce the amount of taxes you owe. They're designed to encourage certain things, like going to college or buying a house or even just having kids. And they can provide some financial assistance to those who qualify.
So it's like the government rewarding you for doing certain things.
You could say that. There are a lot of different tax credits out there for all sorts of things, from education to healthcare to home ownership.
Wow, sounds like I need to do some research and see which ones I might qualify for.
Definitely. The IRS website has a whole list of them
Yeah.
with eligibility requirements and instructions on how to claim them.
That's super helpful. It's like a treasure hunt for tax savings.
Haha, exactly. And speaking of treasures, let's not forget about tax deductions.
Ooh, yes, deductions. Those are always good news. What can you tell me about those?
Tax deductions let you subtract certain expenses from your income before calculating your tax liability. So essentially, it lowers your taxable income and your tax bill.
So it's like getting a discount on your taxes
Okay.
based on certain
Right.
expenses.
Exactly. And just like with tax credits, there are tons of deductions available for things like mortgage interest, charitable contributions, medical expenses, you name it.
Okay, this is starting to sound less like tax season and more like tax savings season. I'm liking this trend.
I like your thinking. And the IRS website is your one-stop shop for all things deductions. They have all the info you need on eligible expenses limitations and how to claim them.
It's like having a personal tax strategist in my pocket.
Indeed. And speaking of having helpful resources at your fingertips, let's circle back to one of our earlier topics, tax refunds.
Yes, those lovely bundles of money that we wait for all year.
The IRS has made it super easy to track your refund status and get your money quickly and securely through the Where's My Refund tool.
We already know Where's My Refund is
Yeah.
awesome. But remind me, why is choosing direct deposit the best option?
Direct deposit is the way to go. It's like having your refund delivered straight to your bank account. No delays, no hassles. It's the fastest and most secure way to get your money.
Got it. Direct deposit equals efficiency and peace of mind. Check.
Perfect. Now that we've covered how to track your refund, let's move on to another important part of your tax journey, tax planning.
Tax planning. Oh, that sounds kind of intimidating. Is this
Yeah.
something only like financial experts need to worry about?
Not at all. Tax planning is just about being smart with your money. It's about managing your income, your expenses, your investments to try and lower your tax bill and keep more money in your pocket.
So it's like being proactive with your taxes instead of just reacting to them.
Exactly. And while it might sound complicated, it's a really important part of managing your finances. It can save you a lot of money in the long run.
Okay, you've got my attention. Where do I even begin with tax planning?
The IRS website is a great place to start. They have a ton of information on different tax planning strategies, from retirement contributions to charitable donations to investment choices.
So it's like having a virtual tax advisor guiding me through the process.
Exactly. And if you need more personalized advice, you can always talk to a qualified tax professional. They can help you create a plan that works for you and your financial goals.
Our tax planning, I'm officially intrigued. But I have to admit, my brain is getting a bit full from all this tax talk. We've covered a lot of ground today.
You're doing great. And we're almost done with our deep dive. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more important topic, tax-advantaged investments.
Ooh, tax-advantaged investments. Those sound like something I should know about.
For sure. They're like secret weapons in your financial toolbox. They can help you grow your money while also lowering your tax bill.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more.
These types of investments are designed to encourage specific kinds of savings and investments, usually for retirement, education, or healthcare.
So they come with special tax benefits.
Precisely. They offer different advantages, like deductions on your contributions, tax-deferred growth, or even tax-free withdrawals, depending on the specific investment.
Wow, that sounds like a win-win. Grow your money and save on taxes. Where do I sign up? But seriously, where can I learn more about these investments?
The IRS website is your best bet. They have a great overview of tax-advantaged investments, including who's eligible, how much you can contribute, and what the tax implications are.
Sounds like I've got some homework to do. But I'm excited to dive in. Tax-advantaged investments added to my list. What else do we have time for?
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, but there's always more to learn about the world of taxes. It's a never-ending journey.
My brain might need a little break, but I'm ready for more.
Okay, awesome. Let's pause for a second to regroup, and then we'll be back to explore even more tax tips and resources.
Okay, so we're back. And before the break, we were all about those tax-advantaged investments. You know, those secret weapons for financial success.
They really are like a bonus from the government for making smart money moves.
Right. But there are so many different investment options out there. How do I know which ones are right for me?
That's where a little research comes in. The IRS website has a really good overview of all the different tax-advantaged accounts like 401ks, IRAs, HSAs, the usual suspects. It breaks down all the details, the contribution limits, the tax benefits, how withdrawals work. It's all there.
So I can basically create my own investment strategy based on what works for my situation,
Yeah.
my financial goals.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right fit. You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a minute. Sometimes this whole tax world feels like a giant confusing maze. All this jargon and complicated rules.
I hear ya. Taxes aren't always the easiest thing to understand.
That's why I love these deep dives. We get to break down these complex topics into manageable pieces and highlight those resources that can really help people out.
I agree. The more you know about taxes, the better you'll be at navigating the system.
So true. Speaking of feeling empowered, I think it's important to talk about something that's often overlooked: taxpayer rights.
Oh, absolutely. Every taxpayer has certain rights that protect them from being treated unfairly and make sure they have a voice, throughout the whole tax process.
Like the Bill of Rights, but for taxes.
Yeah.
What are some of the key rights that everyone should know about?
Well, the Taxpayer Bill of Rights outlines 10 fundamental rights. Things like the right to be informed, the right to quality service from the IRS, the right to pay only the correct amount of tax, the right to challenge the IRS's position if you disagree, and even the right to appeal an IRS decision.
Wow, those are some serious protections. It's like having a shield against potential tax issues.
Exactly. And the IRS actually takes these rights pretty seriously. They have a special taxpayer advocate service that helps people resolve problems and make sure the rights are being respected.
So if I ever feel like my rights are being violated, or if I'm dealing with an unfair situation, I can reach out to this advocate service for help.
Absolutely. They can walk you through the process and make sure you're being treated fairly.
Okay, phew.
Yeah.
That's really good to know. It's like having someone in my corner.
You got it. And remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about your rights and responsibilities as a taxpayer, the better equipped you'll be to handle any challenges that come your way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We talked about tracking those refunds. We dug into all those resources on the IRS website. We even touched on taxpayer rights and those awesome tax-advantaged investments.
I think we've given everyone a pretty good toolkit for tax success.
Absolutely. But before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
What will you do differently now that you have all this new knowledge about taxes and the IRS? It's something to think about.
Will you feel more confident when tax season rolls around? Will you explore some new tax saving strategies? Or will you just breathe a sigh of relief knowing that you have the tools and information to tackle your taxes head on?
You've taken a big step towards becoming a more informed and empowered taxpayer, so use that knowledge wisely.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the world of IRS resources.
May your refunds be plentiful, your taxes be manageable, and your financial journey be a successful one.
Until next time, happy filing.